You are now tuned into Shotgun Sports USA. Powered by Winchester. Recorded in the U.S. and streaming all over the world. We talk to shotgun shooters from all disciplines, championship-winning coaches, gun clubs, world-class target setters, vendors, and industry-leading companies that fuel the sport. If you are into clay target sports, you are at the right place for insider information from some of the best in the world every single week. Remember to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and connect with us on social media. You can also catch our episodes on shotgunsportsusa.com. Being a brand name in the clay target industry, Rick Hemingway has said, "Have you ever noticed almost all major sporting events are being run by Pro-Matic traps?" Think about that statement for a minute. He's right, and you may want to consider that before making your next purchase. Rick is the largest Pro-Matic dealer specializing in individual and commercial trap sales. Rick provides skeet, trap, 5-stamp, and sporting clays, designs, installs, and service. He also offers accessories such as solar panels, wireless release systems, as well as the hottest item on the market, the Claybot by Renair Products. Visit www.backwoodsquailclub.com or give him a call at 843-546-1466. Castellani shooting vests are manufactured in Italy and internationally recognized by elite shooters as the most popular, lightweight shooting vests on the market. Castellani vests are especially known for their Italian styling and superior craftsmanship and quality, making them a vest of choice for all shooting disciplines. Ultimate Shooting Accessories is the exclusive supplier of Castellani vests in the United States. Visit UltimateShootingAccessories.com for more information and to place your order. The Double D Foundation, launched by Daniel Defense Executive Vice President Cindy Daniel, is a product of a vision. Like all charitable organizations, the Double D Foundation has a purpose: to protect the Second Amendment by growing the number of Americans involved in shooting sports who understand the fundamentals of firearm safety and who share the core belief that the Second Amendment defends the rest. For more information, visit thedoubledfoundation.org.
Get ready for one of America's largest tournaments that's coming to Georgia in March of 22. The Gator Cup is one of the favorites that shooters flock to for great targets, great hospitality, great food, and great people. We're going to tell you all about it right now. The Gator Cup is now coming to Georgia, and I'm excited about that, and especially being at Cherokee Rose because I love coming to this place. Nice people. It's a beautiful place, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what to expect, and Dave Dalton's here with us. Gene Bostic's here with us. We got Mr. Fred Finizzi and Mr. Joe Finizzi here, and we're going to talk about this shoot. Is everybody ready to do that?
Absolutely. We're very excited.
So, Dave, let's start out with talking about Cherokee Rose. A few years back, I don't know how many years ago it was basically non-existent.
Right. Backing up a little bit, I tried to retire 5 years ago, and it didn't go real well. And I decided that I wanted to get back in business. I'd started shooting sporting clays. The first registered shoot I shot was the old Seminole Cup, which became the Gator Cup. And as I started building my model to open or buy or build a sporting clay club, I looked at what Fred Finizzi and Maria had done, and because they did everything right, and gave up on Florida. Nothing was really for sale at the right price, and couldn't get anything permitted because of all the wetlands. And in June of 2019, Cherokee Rose was presented to us. We got it under contract in July and closed on it. Gene and I closed on it in August of 2019. and the values we put together were based on the way that Fred and Maria operated.
Right.
So it was Cherokee Rose was basically they were out of business. It had been on decline, I'm going to say, since 2013, and it had really taken a nosedive after 2016. And we've done everything we can to really to bring back one of the most iconic clubs in sporting clays. It was built in 1981. Starting in 1990, they held a Southeast Regional and a Georgia State shoot. There's been 3 Southeast Regionals held at Cherokee Rose in Griffin, Georgia, and 5 Georgia State shoots.
Yeah. Now, you said Griffin, Georgia. Tell everybody where Griffin, Georgia is.
Griffin, Georgia, where Cherokee Rose is located, is 29 miles south of the Atlanta airport.
Okay.
It's probably 10 miles west of I-75. So we have direct flights almost any major city in the country. We've got hotel rooms in Griffin and restaurants, and then we have thousands of hotel rooms within a 30-mile radius. Even in McDonough, Georgia, where there's 15, 20 minutes from here. There's 1,000 plus in the city limits and probably 3,000 at the intersection of I-20 and I-75.
Yeah, I've always said about this place, it's 2 hours away from everything in Georgia.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's 2 hours basically from the border up north and from the Valdosta border, basically.
To your point, for our monthly register shoot, in which we've got a big one coming up the first weekend of November, the Fraser 500, we have people drive in for our monthly NSCA shoots from Alabama and Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida.
You said Fraser 500. Go into that a little bit.
Yeah, well, many of y'all know Chuck Fraser.
Right.
And Chuck passed away last year.
Right.
And Cherokee Rose would not be here today if it wasn't for Chuck Fraser. He was not only was he one of the best mechanics in the country, one of the best chromatic mechanics. He was one of the best target setters. He set targets at some of the biggest events across the nation. And when we purchased Cherokee Rose, Gene and I, our original plan was, okay, we got 45 traps here. We're gonna fold out 15 a year until we have all new traps. And after talking to Chuck, he said they're all junk. He says I've kept them running for 3 years.
Right.
And what many people don't know, he probably kept them running without getting paid for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Jack Tinley, who runs our clubhouse and checks everybody in. Anybody who's been here has met Jack. He spent hours on the phone with Chuck just keeping things running. So we wound up getting 60 new Promatics. Thanks to Promatic and Hayward, and then Chuck really, Gene and I didn't know anything about running a sporting clay, course. That wasn't our original intent. So I called him up and said, "Hey, we need some help," and he said, "I got your back. All you gotta do is call."
Right.
And I said, "When do you want to come?" He goes, "When do you want me there?"
Yeah.
If I have something booked, he goes, "I'll change my schedule for you." So that's how special Chuck is to us, and so many other people in the sporting clay world. And when I called Hayward, I said, "Hey, you want to do something where Chuck is not, forgotten?" And Chuck loved racing cars, so he came up with the idea of the Fraser 500. So we're going to throw Feetastic this event for the first time since 2012. We'll have a 100-bird fee task. We'll have a 100-bird prelim. We'll have a 100-bird main on Saturday, a 100-bird main on Sunday, and super sporting, and a 5-stand.
Yep.
And we'll do $20 back to class in the main and $10 back to class on all the other events.
Right. So for people that have never been to Cherokee Rose, kind of give them a walkthrough. I'm talking about from the gate to the back of the property. Tell them what you offer here.
Well, when you drive in the front gate, the first thing you'll see is that our landscape is always maintained.
Right.
When one of our values is that we'll always have the best equipment available, that every trap will be loaded every day, every battery will be charged, every station will be clean. You can look anywhere where Fred Finizzi's been, and that's what you saw. So It was pretty easy to copy and model. That's what we did. The terrain is unique. Certainly for anybody coming out of Florida, I don't think there's a flat piece of ground on this, 124 plus acres.
Right.
We have a lot of elevation change. We have some couple of beautiful ponds. We have a tree canopy almost on the entire course.
Shade.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have a very unique pavilion and clubhouse. It's not the biggest in the world, but it's certainly
It's big enough.
Yeah, plenty big.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jean, she works here every day alongside Dave, and Dave, I'm gonna tell you, she's probably the real reason I come up here, because every time I see her, she's smiling. Yeah, she's always smiling, always welcoming. And
thank you, Justin.
The first time I came here, I walked up, and it was early. It was before you opened, I think, and there was a sign on the door that said, "Call this number, if you get here and I'm not in the clubhouse." So I called it, and it was her. I said, this was a woman. I said, and she comes up there, and I've been loading the traps.
Yeah.
I said, really? So ever since
picking
then,
up holes.
Yeah, I've had a lot of respect for her. I mean, I'm glad she's part of the team for sure.
Me too.
No doubt.
You and I have been friends ever since, Justin.
That's right. That's right. So, moving on to the Gator Cup, the big topic of conversation throughout sporting clays. I want to get your input, Fred, on the Gator Cup.
You bet. I appreciate it. Justin, first, I sure want to tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time to come up here and sit down with us this afternoon at Cherokee Rose and talk about this fantastic event. Been 7 years running. This will be the 8th. A lot of people who have shot with us down in Florida remember the 10 years we put on another really big blast down there that's up here in Georgia now that's had a lot of success. But we are excited to be here.
Yep.
And in listening to Double D's opening comments, he said, 5 years ago I tried to get retired and I needed something to do. Well, a little over a month ago I tried to get retired.
Right.
And it didn't exactly work because I knew that I wanted to keep on, and as much as I love this game. And it's kind of funny. Double D called me, I don't think it was a full month ago, maybe 3 weeks back, and he said, you have a few minutes to talk to me about this shoot I'm going to have called the Frazier 500. And I said, well, first off, I applaud you for honoring our buddy Chuck Frazier, because every one of us who had the ability to know him loved him and realized what a kind, hard-working fella he was and how much he brought to our game of sporting clay. So I said, I'm going to commit to helping you with this. And he said, well, I just want to know what the key is to putting on a good sporting clays tournament. Is it targets, or is it how you do things on the course? And we had about, Double D, a 15 or 20-minute conversation. I said,
Absolutely.
I don't think it's just one thing. I said, it's all things that come together, Do you have to have really great target presentations that pleases everybody there? Sure you do. Do you have to handle people when they come in to get parked? Do you have to organize your squatting and, how things go in the clubhouse and ammo sales? Good food that you can get in a hurry that's reasonable. Is the place aesthetically pleasing? Is the staff right? So a bunch of stuff comes together for any successful manager who realizes that a lot of these people are doing this for fun. They're putting money on the line to be entertained, and that's the business we're in, hospitality and fun. Now, we're going to have the pros here and the hot shots, and we're going to challenge them, which is important. But as Double D and I were talking about the time that I hung the phone up, I walked inside the house and I looked at Maria and I said, Double D was just asking me a lot of questions about success in big shoots. And a light went on. And I said, what about us talking to him about partnering with us on the future Gator Cup? And she said, that's something to consider. And what I like best is that, we have a fresh club owner here that's eager to do the right thing in terms of work ethic, in terms of financial, not squeeze the last penny. I think if you haven't been to Cherokee Rose in a while, and you pull in here today and you haven't been in here in the last 5, 6, 8 years, you will be pleasantly surprised. And you will see that there's somebody here willing to reinvest their work ethic, reinvest their time, reinvest their finances to provide something great for everybody. So with that in mind, I thought, well, after 17 years, we figured a little something out about treating people well,
right,
and having some success. And we have a partner who would be, honest, would have great integrity, would be somebody that we could develop a lot of trust in, and that's somebody that his handshake would mean a bunch to me, and my handshake would mean a bunch to him. And Maria said, I think that's good. I called him back shortly thereafter, and I said, I've got something for you to consider, Double D. And when I told it to him, he said, I can't tell you right now, but I will tell you I'm interested. And so as the conversations went on over the next couple of days, it was all about, hey, we know that we've got a beautiful club that is extremely well located, that we just want to make sure that we can do this. Can we put on 13 individual events? Can we put on a 200-bird main? Can we put on a 100-bird feed test? Can we have all the sub-gauge and 50-bird, 12-gauge events, super sporting, all the things that we did in Florida and had such great success on? And we have figured a way to make that happen and accommodate everybody where they're comfortable on site. And this is where we are. And we are just excited, I tell you. My son Joe offers pretty good shooter perspective. He goes to a lot of them. And when we sat back and looked at what has been going on with some of the other clubs in Georgia and looked at these state shoots and looked at these regionals, 1,000, close to 1,000 in the last regional here, this is a great location to draw folks, and especially kids, which we're all very excited about that. So I could go on for a long time, Justin, but this was the reason for the move. And we think it's a great move, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, you bring it up, having all of these events here at Cherokee Rose, and that's a big question people have is will they fit here? And
Absolutely.
And yeah,
I mean, we have 2 sporting clay courses that will be 16 stations each. It'll be squatted. We have Fred and Rick Hemingway and
sure.
Joe and I and Marie and Jean have spent the past 2 days riding around. We have great cart paths where 2 big vehicles can pass, so we don't have the congestion issues, but we have great signage and great traffic flow, and we'll improve on that. We have a sub-gauge course, 8 station that hadn't been shot since 2012. We have 4 FETAS parkours that haven't been shot since 2012 that have been opened back up where Mother Nature consumed them. So we'll have 100-bird FETAS. We'll have 2 competition 5 stands, and we'll have sub-gauge FETAS.
And you're also going to have make a break, and you're also going to have practice courses.
Oh, we just got commitment today from Ed Preckle. He'll be here to run his make a break and add all that he does with his music and commentary. So, it's all about providing that value to that customer when they get here. Not customer, to that friend, to that patron,
right?
To that guest.
Yeah.
And that's what we've always done, and that's what we plan on doing in the future. I guess for the listening audience, we want you to get to Score Chaser and sign up as quick as you can. We had to put some building blocks together after Double D and I talked about this. One thing we committed to is we really don't want to start to make announcements about what we're doing or kind of let things leak out because I don't know if anybody out there in the audience is paying much attention to this comment, but somehow or other, folks in sporting clays, they like to visit a little bit about what they think is going on.
Yeah.
And we wanted them to know exactly what was going on. So first off, we wanted to make sure that we could get the date. Then we wanted to make sure that we could, have all the traps here. And we've got a great commitment in Rick Hemingway and his team. Eric Dorsey's going to be here with his traps and his knowledge. Sean Power's going to be here. Our friends from LaPorte, Corey Howell and Big Lou are going to be here, who've worked with us so much in the past and are great people to be around. Then, we had to make sure that Score Chaser was available for us, and they were, and they built the chute. And, we even talked to a couple of our sponsors to be sure they were on board, but we said, let's just keep it under hats so that when we roll it out, everybody knows that we're for real.
Right.
And, of course, gosh, our friends Rich and John Cole just jumped right in and said yes. Brian Buzzy with Beretta said yes. Our friends at Kolar Elite Shotguns, Dan Lewis, yes. And the ones that I've called subsequently are like, we are excited for you guys, and we're going to help you make it right.
Right.
And they're all the folks that we've treated well in the past. Certainly the sponsors and the vendors and the people that come out to display their wares are a really big part of a successful shoot, in my opinion. And we're going to promote that again here like we always have at all other Gator Cups. We got a great vending area, a vendor row, which will be a big U-shaped area, much like we've had in the past, and the trailers are going to fit in there, and the folks are going to be able to show their wares and hopefully create some relationships and do some business with all the people that are going to be here and shoot with us. You know, everybody sitting at the table has mentioned our commitment to service, especially in our team, and who's going to be here with what Rick brings in and what Double D has on staff. And something that's really fun for me that I want to make sure everybody knows about is that they're going to recognize a lot of familiar faces. I mean, first and foremost, starting with my wonderful wife, Maria. She's going to be right here assisting as soon as you get here. She was extremely involved in the decision making here. She's extremely involved in the planning of it all. As a matter of fact, she's not sitting here at the table with us now because she's over in your clubhouse talking about things that she has to do. You're going to see some of that group that we had in Florida, and it wasn't like I think I've got to bring them from down there, but it's because so many of them said, I want to go and help.
Right.
Debbie Hollinsworth, who they've recognized behind the counter there for so long. There's a good chance I might even have old Frog Jackson up here, crowd favorite.
Well, I don't know Frog Jackson. Who's Frog Jackson?
Oh, you don't know Frog Jackson?
I don't know Frog.
I thought everybody that comes to the Gator Cup,
I might recognize him, but I don't know.
He's my big jolly green giant that you meet at the front gate that helps you get parked and gets you settled in and everything like that. And generally, I've always told him that I wanted him on the protest committee, but he would never do that. I figured I would never have to receive a protest. But a lot of people know old Frog. He says the blessing over our evening meal on Saturday. But
is he the one that stops you from coming in the gate or going too
yes.
far?
That would be him.
I've tried to trick Frog a few times.
He's a really friendly guy. He's a really friendly guy until he isn't.
Right.
So he's the right man on security.
You're not going to pull the wool over old Frog's eyes. I can tell you that.
No, he's a good one. He's a good one. But anyways, you know, the team is just as committed as we are, and it's for us to set the tone. And you know, I think there's plenty of people that know how valuable Maria is. More likely, way more valuable than me.
Yeah.
Well, as we speak, not only is she just in the clubhouse, she's been working on everybody's to-do list for the past 2 hours. So she's cracking the whip.
Yeah. She has one of those for Cherokee Rose, and she has one for our house.
Yeah.
Used on me the most.
It's all good. Great team.
So, you know, I hate to continue to ramble on, but that was the reason why. We made this announcement Thursday midday, so we're 48 hours in, and we're bumping 250 entries right now.
I was number 4.
Were you 4?
I was number 4.
What'd you wait so long for?
And my buddies were 5 and 6. So,
well, you know, we're really excited. I mean, we thought, you know, if we do this right, you know, we could have a couple hundred shooters in the first week, and now we're well north of that in the first couple of days. And I think, you know, I could safely say that it's because I'm pretty sure the folks that are going to travel to be with us are going to know what they're going to get, and they're going to get a great experience. They have seen and heard about Cherokee Rose, or they've been here in the past. I think they know about, you know, my family and what our commitment is. I have said this so many times on podcasts with you in the past, and that is that I know there's people that go to all the shoots, and my hat's off to them, and I want them this to be a memorable one for them. But if you shoot your local clubs and you're coming out of California, like we have some that have signed up, you're coming out of Montana or the Northeast or somewhere, if this is the one big blast you're going to this year, or you have to choose one, we want it to be this one.
Yeah.
And we're going to uncover every stone to make sure that happens.
Yeah. Let's talk about your big banquet that you usually do. You do a great dinner, and you actually do great lunches throughout the whole event,
right? And
then dinner, and then you have a big banquet where you give away guns and stuff like that. Is that still going to happen?
That is absolutely going to happen, because I think that is one of the building blocks of the Gator Cup. It's what somebody expects. I mean, some shoots have really wonderful make-or-break shoot-offs and cow cutters and such in the evening time, and we're going to have some similar fun stuff going. But that's just one deal that we've tried to handle as well and as organized as we can. You know, when you're talking about feeding 600-plus people, we've had as many as 700 in the past. You set 6 serving stations up, and they're going to get a wonderfully well-cooked piece of prime rib. They're going to get all the trimmings that go with it. They're going to have dessert, and yes, they have the ability to win 30 different guns, including that $10,000 Cole custom Beretta. But they've got to be present to win, which has always been one of those caveats. And for the years running, there's two numbers I'm going to give the listening audience, and that is that 35 minutes is how long it's taken us to serve our crowd. And the other number is 9:35, and that is PM, as in the last 2 years. That was when I saw people get up and leave when we drew that gun. Now, by design, this event is kind of like bull riding. They don't put bull riding at the beginning of the rodeo for a reason, because everybody's there, right?
Yep.
Now, I don't think they came out to listen to my baloney, but I try to add a little humor and keep the thing flowing. We've got to give away prelim events and sub-gauge events and such, but they are there to win that gun. And it's a heartbreaker when you realize you've got a wonderful gun coming and you decided to go and eat in town and not attend this event. So,
That's right.
Yes, we give all of our thank yous and we make sure our ducks in a row, because when we call that name, it looks like somebody pulled the pin on a hand grenade and turned it loose in the pavilion.
Yes.
But it just, in my opinion, it's something you don't see at a shoot anywhere else in the country. And it adds a lot. So, yes, the prime rib, all the dessert, all the fun, all the entertainment, 30 guns, including that custom Cole Beretta when it's over with. And
isn't that a DT11? Isn't that what it is?
It's been the last few years.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know why it wouldn't be. Last year it was with a wonderful TSK stock, which has gained a lot of traction. But it's just wonderful to see people's faces light up and just realize that they don't have to shoot HOA. They do not have to win their class. They could be an E, C, D class, wherever it may be, and they can come away with a $10,000 gun.
As long as you're registered and you're there.
You have to be registered for the main event for that particular gun,
Yep.
and you have to be present.
Yep. I'd just like going just so I can eat. If I win it, great. If not,
we just want folks to know, again, our commitment to them. Obviously, there's about 250 people who said there's no question about it, we're going. But if you're thinking about signing up and you're a little bit on the edge, you're wondering how your schedule looks and you have to choose one, I can tell you, looking you dead in the eye and looking across the table here at Double D and Gene, that we are 100% committed to this. We are not doing this just because we think sporting clays is a great way to make money. We're not here to do anything but try to carry on a tradition of excellence in our industry and our sport. I can tell you that pulling away from the club that I ran for over 20 years was not an easy thing, and that I really enjoy doing this, and I really enjoy being around good people that I work with and good people that I serve. And the people that come through the gate, I'm serving them, and the people that I work with, you know, we have a level of commitment to each other and a level of trust and a level of integrity that is paramount, and I am excited about that.
Yeah, and that's another thing with you and running the Gator Cup in prior years is you see enough people that work there to take care of everything that happens.
Yeah, you can't cheat that. You have to have staff. I mean, it's not easy. You know, there's little, I don't know how to say this, but there's red flags. There's little litmus tests of how things are going. And I can tell you that I always tried to train our crew to say, when that 11:30 or 2:30 rotation steps up and they're getting ready to call for the target, we want those trash cans on that particular station empty. We want the water coolers full. We want the machines loaded. And we don't want that person that comes in for the 2:30 rotation to be covered up with a bunch of trash and, you know, half-filled machines, and which might seem to think that that's something small. That's putting on a shoot.
Yeah.
That's not rocket science, buddy. But I think there's other outfits that miss that.
Yeah.
And we don't want to miss that. We want the bathrooms to be clean. You know, I mean, that's an indicator that we're trying to do other things correctly.
Yep.
And as you said, when you pull in this front gate, you can see that I found a club that is committed to that.
That's right.
And I found a partner that is committed to that. So I feel good about bringing a shoot that a lot of people don't know my wife Maria and I own 100% of. So I think that there would have been some other places that would have said, well, we'd love for you to bring it here, but sometimes you just do something in a hurry because it feels good.
Let's cover this for a minute. Why Georgia? Why you talked about it earlier about a bunch of shooters, youth shooters, but why Georgia? I mean, you have Do you live in Montana now? Is that where your residence is?
I don't own a home in Florida anymore. I've got some cows down there, which is a big passion, and I'll retain those. But yeah, my residence is in Montana.
Right.
And this was actually part of God's plan, right? Was that after 23 years, we would sell Quail Creek, which we successfully did. Joe was going to graduate and go to college, and really, when you're at it for this long, there's a few families out there who have been and continue to stay at it, but Maria and I just want a little bit of a break. You know, to do it right, it takes about 80 hours a week. You know, we ran a hunting club and we ran a lodge and such like that. And she needed a little bit of a break, and I want a little bit of a break. So, yes, Montana is where we're going to spend a whole bunch of our time. But, again, I just felt that I needed a partner. And so why not Georgia?
Yeah.
Again, things that I say about when, you know, there's a little bit of a different look and feel here, and especially the location. I mean, you look at the comments on social media, and I always heard about that shoot, but I never made it. But now you're 7 hours closer, and I'm coming.
That's right.
Every shoot is going to have something that has people draw them to that. Do they want to say they're going there to just shoot nationals every year because they go? Do they want to go overseas to the Not Al Sheba because there's a couple $100,000 you can put in your vest and bring home? But what is it that's drawing them? You know what I'm saying? And this shoot, I think, has a lot of things that are going to draw them. Wonderful club, great location, and a shoot with a name that has proven what you're going to get when you get there.
Yeah, I live in Georgia, and I'm only probably an hour from here. And I've been down to your other shoot. And the problem down there is finding a place to stay.
Yeah, sure.
It's fairly close. And places to eat, really. I mean, I'm sure you could go out and find them. But
well, you didn't have any problem with the bread pudding down there. Oh, you're talking offsite. Oh, I didn't know you weren't talking about the old place.
We're bringing that up again. So
everybody's got to have a reason to go to a shoot, brother.
That's right. You going to have bread pudding?
Why, absolutely. I don't know if it's going to be for everybody, but I'm going to make you a dish.
There you go. But here, everything's close by. I mean, you got restaurants, you've got hotels. There's everything that's like just around the corner.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
there's a barbecue place right down the road. Have y'all been there?
Tell us about it.
I'll tell you. Every time I come here, I stop by there.
There's a lot of people that fly to the Gator Cup. Now they're did you say 29 miles, Double D? 30 miles?
29 miles south Atlanta Airport. There's two private airports, within 10 miles of here. Anybody that wants to come in privately can fly in. There's hotels in Griffin, restaurants in Griffin, which, is 5-10 minutes away. And then McDonough, which is 15-20 minutes away.
Shopping.
Atlanta, you've got the botanical gardens, the museums, you got the shopping there. We're 7 miles south the Atlanta Raceway, the Motor Speedway.
I didn't know you was that close to that.
Yeah.
We are, and to jump in, there is a Gator Cup website. It's thegatorcup.com, where we will be posting all of the information from restaurant recommendations to local attractions and everything else people can do once they get up here.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And everything that Fred said, Gene and I agree with. The only thing that I would add to that is one of our values is that anybody that comes to Cherokee Rose and spend time, that they will leave happy.
Amen.
And I guarantee you, anybody that comes to the Gator Cup or the Fraser 500 or just comes into for the day to shoot, you know what? We're going to do everything possible that you have a great day and that you leave happy and you want to come back.
Yep, that's right. It's a great place to be. I love coming here. It's so nice. So when I got here today, we got on a side by side, went riding around the property, and Joe was following us around, and he was telling us what all was going to happen here, and how excited he was about it. And I kind of want to get his perspective on being a shooter of what he thinks the place is going to be like when the Gator Cup comes.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Justin, first of all, I want to thank you for being here today, and this is something we've all really been looking forward to, and we can't wait. It's just an honor to be here with Double D and Miss Jean, and of course my parents and the awesome staff that they have here at Cherokee Rose. And we've had a great opportunity to ride around the last couple of days, and I've never been here before. I've heard a lot about it for many years, but yesterday was the first time I'd ever been to Cherokee Rose, and what a beautiful place. But I did have a regret. And my regret was not bringing my gun this week, because after riding around on the courses, it's just a shooting paradise. And, I've been blessed to go around to a lot of different places in the country and in the world. And just after being here the last couple of days, just riding around the place, everywhere from the front gate to the back, but especially the courses, there's just a variety of, gorgeous water, trees, woods. It's just a nice dynamic.
And there's a charm. I can't help but interrupt, but there is a charm that comes with all the beauty on this place.
It's a special spot for sure. And that nice dynamic is just offered with, landscape and all kind of other things that will not disappoint. And I tell you what, if there's any wonder or doubt about there being great shooting offered here, there shouldn't be. And for those who are wondering what to expect at the Gator Cup, I know it's just a fact that there's going to be great experienced target setters here that will use the terrain to the full value, present the shooters with an opportunity to challenge their skill set, but at the same time enjoy every second of it. And there's going to be a phenomenal team, just awesome staff, and a roster of professionals that are the best in the business, and it's going to be a fun time, especially for, the shooting itself. Once you're on the course, there's just going to be an awesome experience to have, had throughout the weekend. And whatever event it may be, I know it's going to be a great time for everybody, and I'm excited.
All right, let me stop you right there, Joe. You can first off, let's talk about target setters. I don't think we've touched on that. Who your target setter is going to be?
So we're really excited, of course, have that led by Rick Hemingway.
Right.
But not just Rick Hemingway. We wanted a variety, and we wanted some names in there so people would know what they're going to get. So Rick is committed to lead the team, but he'll be setting one of the main event courses as well as two of the prelim courses. Very excited to announce Cody Matson, who's the resident pro here at Cherokee Rose, and he'll set one of the other main event courses. Something that really I'm proud to announce, because this gentleman in particular has so much credibility in the world of fee task, not just here in the States but around the world. But our main event fee task is to be set by none other than Mr. Joe Canty, who I visited with a little while back, and I said, I can't say much, but if I was to be somewhere and need you, he said, I'll be glad to be there and help you. So when I got a hold of him and just here recently, he said, I'm in, I'm ready. And by the way, I set fee task targets there years ago at Cherokee Rose for, previous owner. And I said, well, wonderful. I said, well, those venues are opened up now and they look wonderful. And he said, it's a beautiful club.
Yeah.
And he's going to be there. And of course, assist and run the fee task events. Also, my friend Corey Howe and Lou are going to be here from LaPorte, and they're going to do as they've done in other Gator Cups in the past, which is run the 50 bird sub-gauge events, as well as the 12 gauge 50 bird event. And then, of course, on Saturday and Sunday, they're going to be assisting with the changing of the targets and set up our super sporting. So we've got a variety of some folks who are known, and a variety of some folks who've got the resume to put great targets in the air.
Yeah. Joe was mentioning a minute ago how nice the place looked on the course. And we were riding through earlier, and I think I was talking to Dave, I said, you just don't go to places and see every station, all the paint's fresh, and the gravel is there with no weeds in it. There's no mud.
It's really nice.
There's no mud.
Really nice.
And the trees out there, I mean, I know they're old trees. It's not little saplings everywhere. It's big trees and water and shade.
Aesthetics is a huge part of our game.
Yeah.
I just think that if we went somewhere and threw a bunch of targets in the desert, I mean, aesthetics just, when you pull in here, you get a good feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea.
Yeah. That's right. I know Joe's over here. He's looking at me like, man, I want to say something else. What else you got, Joe?
I actually do have one final thing to add. And I've been thinking about this. I've known Mr. Dave and Miss Jean actually for quite a while now. And obviously my parents are my parents, so I know them, and I've known them for a while.
Met Joe before I met his dad.
That's right. We shot together a long time ago, and that's where I first met him. And I was young. I was probably still shooting a 20 gauge all the way back then. So that just shows you how long I've known you. And this is a big family, and I just want everyone who's listening now and considering coming to the Gator Cup, and if you already are signed up, and if you're willing to trust us, we want everyone to know that you aren't just treated as a number or another shooter in this event. You're an individual, and we care about you. And this crew and everyone here is willing to create a hospitable atmosphere, and you will be taken care of. You will be welcomed, and you will have a great time. There's no question about it. And just historically, that's how it's always been, and there's no reason that'll ever change. And everyone is going to really enjoy themselves and just feel welcomed and have fun at the shoot. Because at the end of the day, everybody loves to compete, and that's why we're here. But people like to have fun too. And there's going to be a fun atmosphere at this shoot in March.
Fred, you training this guy right here to take over the Gator Cup in a little while?
He must be listening to his mom talk, I guess.
It comes from Miss Maria, I promise.
Is that what it is? Thank you for your time, sitting down with me, Fred, Gene, Dave, and Joe, and letting everybody know what this shoot is going to be about. And I'm so excited to have it here.
Well, I tell you what, 100 times over, thank you for taking the time to be here. Thank you for believing in the fact that we're going to have a great shoot. And again, I think my one message here to anybody who's listening is that we're committed to providing them the same experience that they've had in the past, if not one that's even a little bit better. Get in there on Score Chaser and sign up as quick as you can. And other than that, we'll see you in March, and we're going to have a great time.
That's right. So, Gene, tell everybody how they can find out information on Cherokee Rose and the Gator Cup again.
Absolutely, Justin. The Cherokee Rose website is crclays.com, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Cherokee Rose Sporting Clays.
Yep. I'll try to also keep everybody posted if you follow our social media with stuff that they post.
Yeah, and you've done a great job so far, which we really appreciate.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All the best. You bet.
All right, guys. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll
Thank you,
catch
Justin.
soon.
I appreciate it, man.